In Avatar, we have some incredibly strong and at times immensely overpowered benders and bending abilities. But it should also be noted that we also have some incredibly strong non-benders such as Sokka, Ty Lee, Suki, and many more. But which of the many non-benders is the undisputed strongest non-bender of all time? Well, to finally figure this out, I'm going to go through and explain every non-bender that plays an important role in both The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra. So without wasting any more of your time, let's dive right into today's video. Beginning with our number 12 pick, June. June is incredibly gifted in tracking and hunting, and is always accompanied by Nala, her dear Sarshu pet. Together they make for quite the team, because June has some impressive physical strength and agility at her disposal, and her ability to utilize Nala's senses and paralyzing tongue shows some real high combative intelligence. Her preferred weapon of choice is the whip, and aside from making her appear even hotter than she already was, it adds a real element of danger to her already intimidating demeanor. Like against most benders and non-benders alike, she is a real problem to deal with. But now let's move on to a non-bender and his trusty team of powerless warriors. It's number 11, Jet and the Freedom Fighters. Now Jet was quite the combative. Armed with nothing but his trusty hook swords, he gave multiple firebenders a run for their money. He was quick, agile, and above all unrelenting. He had no hesitation or mercy when it came to defeating a Fire Nation soldier, and he was always backed by his trusty allies, the Freedom Fighters. The Freedom Fighters under Jet's guidance used their own style of guerrilla warfare to take the upper hand against an otherwise superior army. They are seriously underrated and underexplored within the series, and if given a bit more appreciation from the writing team, then maybe they'd be placed higher on this list. But for now, it's number 11 for them. But quickly moving on, we have number 10, the unparalleled warrior, Sokka. Sokka is the quick-witted and unyielding leader of Team Avatar. He starts off as a goofy child with no real talent or fighting ability, but by the end of the series, he becomes a skilled swordsman and tactician. And he was even the one to lead the invasion on the Fire Nation when his father became injured and unable to move. He is always seen as foolish and playful, but if you underestimate him, it would mean your end. Like this is the guy who knocked out Wang Shitong. Put some respect on his name or suffer the ultimate price. But now let's move on to number 9, Hakoda. Hakoda is the dad of both Katara and Sokka, as well as the chief of the Southern Water Tribe. He is a skilled fighter and leader. He both protected and guided his people through some of their darkest days. He is a master in all kinds of combat, and is seen defeating multiple master firebenders single-handedly on the day of the invasion. And his genius battle plans has led to many victories over the Fire Nation. He is definitely one of the characters that deserves more screen time, but because there is a lack of scenes involving him, he must stay at number 7 on this list. But next up we have our number 8 pick, the Kyoshi Warriors. The Kyoshi Warriors are a group of female fighters trained in Avatar Kyoshi's very own combat style. They are one of the strongest and most formidable groups in the series. And with their agile movements and expertise in all kinds of weapons, there are very few moments where we actually see them struggling to win a fight. So with their beauty, brains, and insane level of teamwork, their position as number 8 on this list is truly deserved. But now let's quickly discuss our number 7 pick, the Lieutenant and the Equalist. The Lieutenant served as Amon's right-hand man and was very skilled in hand-to-hand combat. Armed with his modern weaponry, he was seen to make the likes of Korra struggle when fighting him. He is most commonly seen leading the Equalists into battle against enemy benders. The Equalists are a group of people who display a large threat against all benders in and around the Republic City. And while they may be non-benders themselves, they are seen utilizing chi blocking and electric gloves to give them the edge when dealing with benders and non-benders alike. And I don't think it's much of a stretch to claim them as one of the most formidable organizations in the entirety of Avatar. But now let's move on to number 6, Mai. Mai is, and has always been, one of my personal favorite characters, and with her incredible talent in knife throwing, she is easily one of the most powerful non-benders in the Avatar series. Mai is insanely agile and flexible in combat, and has been seen to make groups of master benders look completely outclassed when fighting her. And out of all the non-benders on this list, she has come the closest to both capturing and killing the Avatar and his team. Like if not for a touch of plot armor here and there, I'd be willing to bet Aang would have died to her pretty early on in the series. And that's not all, because her most impressive ability is the ability to remain calm and collected at any moment. She is always rational and steadfast in her beliefs, even going so far as to challenge Azula atop the boiling rock. Like, do you understand what challenging that psycho meant for her in that moment? It meant that she was essentially signing her own death warrant. But she didn't care because she realized that she was doing it for her love. But now let's discuss another of the many talented female characters in Avatar. It's number 5, Suki. Suki is the strongest Kyoshi warrior by far. She is trained in all of Avatar Kyoshi's fighting techniques and is extremely well versed in weaponized combat. Using her quick speed and agility, she can best even the most dangerous of foes. She even went so far as to develop her own style of fighting so that she could defend against Ty Lee's chi blocking, which just shows an extreme understanding in all things fighting related. She is unrelenting and beyond brave. She seeks out powerful foes and puts herself in harm's way to remove them from the fight. She is definitely deserving of this top 5 slot. But now let's quickly discuss number 4, Asami Sato. Asami Sato is not only a pretty face, but is also an extremely strong non-bender. She is incredibly gifted in hand-to-hand combat and has a genius level of intelligence. She is seen in the series defeating a number of the Equalists and the Red Lotus. Her extreme understanding for technology is invaluable to Korra and her team. And she is also seen using her signature electric gloves to both disarm and defeat various opponents in combat. She is someone that you can never underestimate at all, because by doing so you sign away your own life. And in my personal opinion, she is easily the strongest true non-bender in all of the Legend of Korra. But now coming in at number 3 is a bit of a controversial pick. It's Sahir. Now yes, Sahir does become an extremely strong airbender after harmonic convergence, but before any of that he was a non-bending member of the Red Lotus, and was someone that Zuko himself claimed to be incredibly dangerous. He is a master in multiple martial arts and is strong enough to beat Master Bender single-handedly. Like, I debated both his eligibility for this list and whether or not he actually deserves number 1. Because while the 2 remaining characters are incredibly strong, Sahir's talent in martial arts allowed him to basically become a master airbender mere seconds after acquiring the powers. Like, that's a feat that no one else in the entire series shares. But for the sake of this list remaining unbiased, let's just keep him at number 3 for now. Up next we have a fan favourite female character. One that many love to claim as the strongest non-bender to have ever lived. It's number 2, Ty Lee. Ty Lee is an extremely broken non-bender. She's fast and insanely agile, and while she may not be the strongest character physically, the way she utilizes her circus talents in combat makes her movements unpredictable. She is also the first and most impressive chi blocking character in the series, and when you pair that with her incredible talent for airbending techniques, she appears borderline unbeatable. She has even been seen to defeat a whole platoon of elite earthbenders single-handedly. So yeah, she definitely is a contender for the top slot, but her naive nature and playful attitude in my opinion lets her down quite a bit, and is ultimately what keeps her at number 2 on this list. But now if even Ty Lee isn't number 1, then who is? Well, that would be Master Piandao. Master Piandao is the man who made Sokka, the worthless member on the team, into one of the most talented swordsmen in the world, and he did it in literally just a day. He is extremely well versed in multiple martial arts techniques and is stated to have never been defeated in battle, despite being in countless wars and fights during his time as a Fire Nation soldier. And then when he eventually left the military, he was hunted down by 100 Fire Nation soldiers who he single-handedly defeated one after another. He later joins the White Lotus, an organization that is just full of old guys who are immensely overpowered. He follows his own strict code of conduct and respects honor above all else. His experiences and abilities easily surpass all others on this list, making his position as the strongest non-bender of all time a worthy title. So yeah, Piandao is number 1 on my list. But what about yours? Tell me who you got in your top 3 down below. And while you're at it, why not hit that like and subscribe button? We are edging ever closer to that 100k milestone, and I'd love for you to join us on this journey. But with that, I'm out. Have a great rest of your day, and peace.